In my sister's diary, she describes, often with an unbearable sense of loss, the mid-90s. Elaine describes how she and Nathan Lustard attended raves at the Midland in Morecambe, and how once at dawn she gave him a blowjob on the beach among the cockles, the crabs and people. I love this image. I was born in 1982. I grew up knowing my childhood and my adulthood would take place in different centuries. I can hardly remember anything about my first 5 years except a peach couch and a fake fire. This morning, at the smoothie stand, Peta spat a pip at me to try and cheer me up. I have responded by giving her the silent treatment and by coming outside to eat. The sun is shining. The mustard bricks of the Arndale Tower catch the light, and it looks like a vertical Spanish beach, the windows laid out like towels. When Peta and I bicker, the smoothie stand becomes small, and so I spend my lunch hours doing laps of the Arndale Centre. Today, I visited Poundland in the Glass Wing, where I purchased this notepad and sprayed my wrists with Lynx Africa. I enjoy the Glass Wing because of its natural light. As I returned to the stand, I looked through the ceiling and witnessed an aeroplane crossing the sky. The truth is, I'm not sure whether the smell of my wrists recalls my own puberty or Elaine's. We serve a lot of goths at the smoothie stand. They ask for energy drinks. Peta, my manager, won't do them, and I think that's right. She does boosters, which aren't the same. I think I'd have been a goth if I hadn't been so committed to table tennis. I'd have stuck to the principles, though. One called Peta a slag and filmed a reaction on his phone. He ordered a top of the morning, and it really broke her spirits. Our pitch sits between a grocer's and a sushi bar. For 3 years I have diced apples, mushed bananas, squashed grapes, grated ginger, peeled kiwis, juiced oranges, and pressed go on the blender. The secret to my new smoothie is its optimistic name. Just to order a top of the morning gives the customers a lift. I've been giving a lot of consideration lately to the issue of what does and what does not constitute a life. Between my bedsit, my job, and my visits to Walkabout, the Australian pub where I watch the Premiership, I seem to have nailed some planks of driftwood together, if you see what I mean. Though of course I'm not happy. I walk up Hanover Street each morning at 6, sometimes singing Whitney Houston quietly. In 1993, her cover of I Will Always Love You is replaced at the top of the UK singles chart by Two Unlimited's No Limit. I remember listening to this with my sister. "This is it, Jim," she said. Elaine's breasts were developing. She bounced on her bed wearing silk midnight blue pyjamas. "There's no limits." My bedsit has one striking feature, a column by the door that I describe as deco. The whole place stinks. My bed's broken. I sleep on its slope. The inside of my fridge is like a room in a modern art gallery, bare, bright white, and then the odd disturbing object. My one window is Edwardian and won't close. A community of little moths is standing on the bathroom ceiling. I look up when I pee and say, "Hello." No matter how many times I clean the oven, it emits noxious smoke when I switch it on. I am eating too much advent calendar, and I think it's the lowest quality chocolate. I have a sweat problem. I should go on daytime television. My brain's inside my head like an avocado stone. Having said that, Top of the Morning is currently outselling any smoothie Peta comes up with by 2 or 3 sales to 1, and it's her stand. In his 1957 essay, The White Negro, Norman Mailer describes how white people became cool. He says coolness becomes possible when people live under threat. For black people, the threat is white people. For white people, he says, it is the atom bomb. I'm on my lunch hour again. For lunch, I took alternate bites from a chunk of cheddar and a beef tomato. Mailer says white people begin to act cool when they realise they are living in cities that can be annihilated without warning, or become radioactive instantly. When individuals can be reduced to nothing except some hair and some teeth on a pavement, everyone has something to gain from becoming cool. At least, I think that's the long and short of it. Peta just joined me for a cigarette. She's threatened to plunge a banana into my anus the next time I bend over. She swore in Polish, blowing smoke towards the electronic doors of Primark. "What are you doing, Jim?" "Writing." "Why?" I'm not sure. It's 1 month since I crashed Kate Reynolds' hire car. A month since she withdrew money from the cash point and handed me enough for a bag of Satsumas and my train ticket. I don't want to write about Kate Reynolds. I love her, it's true, but I don't want to write about her. I would inevitably turn her into a kind of sombre and opinionated sex doll. The reader, if there is one, might have heard of my family. If that's not the case, then all the better. I shall write about my family and also my thoughts on the moon landing and how I became a fruit crusher. I'll write about the career of the child actor Macaulay Culkin, and about a pube that grew from my friend Harry King in the winter of 1992, and about a time capsule we buried beneath the infant's playground that summer. Peta moans about emigrating to Manchester, not London. She says the north of England is grimmer than Katowice. It reminds me of how in October 1989, shortly after the Berlin Wall fell, a weasel was found dead on the playing field, and while most of the school went to surround it, I asked Harry King whether he and I were Westerners or Easterners. "We're neither, Jim," he said. In the distance, children paraded the perimeter of the field, carrying the dead animal on the tip of a fallen tree branch. "We're Northerners."